let's see. Let's watch this video by this senator from the American senator of Somali origin, and then now we can discuss it further.
annaga haddii aan nahay dad Soomaali ah waxaan nahay dad isjecel waa laga yaabaa meelaha qaarkood inaan isku xagxagano laakiin haddii runtii ay imaato waxaan nahay dad isku tashto dad walaalo ah dad dhiig lah dad isku og inay Soomaali yihiin inay Muslim yihiin oo iyagana isku hiiliya dadka walaalahoodna u hiiliya marka daraad markii ayaan dhaxdaas markii aan maqalnay in qaar Soomaali ah ama Soomaali sheegato in Ethiopia ay la galeen ma baqaan af Soomaali wixii lagu dhaho agreement heshiis maxamuud nuur hadda aniga Soomaaliga badiyo soo ceeb ma aha dad badan ay soo wacay oo waxay leeyihiin ilhaan dawladda Mareykanka inaan la hadashid waaye dawladda Mareykanka maxay ka qabanaysaa jawaabteedu waxay ahayd dawladda Mareykanka waxay ka qabanaysaa wixii annaga aan dhahno dawladda Mareykanka qabo waa kalsoonidaas inaan isku qabno annaga Soomaali haddii aan nahay wadankan annaga ku nool wadankan wadankii aan annaga tax ka dhiibno waaye waa wadankii gabar idinka dhalatayne ee Congress-ka fadhiso intii aniga aan Congress joogo wadanka Soomaaliya biyaheeda dad kaleeta iyo badeeda dad kale ma qaadanayaan wadanka Mareykankana kuma taageerayo dad kaleeta in annaga ayna dhacaan marka taas ka seexda reer Minnesota gabadhii Congress u dirsateen way idinka warhaysaa sidaad idinka u dareemaysiin dantaas ay u dareemeen madaxweyne xasan shiikhna waxaan leeyahay waan kugu faraxsanahay shaqada fiican aad qabatay in dadka Soomaaliya iyo dadka meel kasta ku nool aad dareensiisay si kasta anaga aan u dhibanahay Soomaali hadii aan nahay waxaan nahay dad karti leh dad wadankooda aqoonsan dad wadankoodii aan wiligood danger laga gelin karin marka waxaan reer Minnesota iyo Soomaalida meel kasta ku nool adeerkaya hadda mar dhow ka hadlaayay idinkaga hambalyeynaya sida aad isku wada duuban tihiin sida aad kulligiin u garab istaagteen madaxweynaheena because wuu u baahan yahay in kulligeen aan garab istaagno Soomaaliya waa Soomaaliya waa hal walaalaan wada nahay dhulkeena lagama kala qaybsanaayo dhulal baa naga maqan raadsanayna insha Allah mar maalinta laakiin inta aan haysan hadda lama kala qaybinayo marka waa mahadsantihiin dhamaantiin sidaad ii sharaftiin oo markas aad iigu soo dhawaysiin ilaahay idin sharfo assalaamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So basically that's the first video. Now let's watch the second video and then now we can keep the discussion going.
Kenya and wiilka gaaris joogo hadii lagu soo duulo Soomaaliya 500 kul wiil baa intimaano diyaar inay ku dhintaan ana idin sheegay dhageysta caloladeeg Soomaalida laga rabaa dani caloladeeg baa lagu yaqaanaa lafta gareero waxa cabsan wixii hadda ka dambeeyo qorqoro soo istaag Xasan Sheekh Maxamuud oo daasha kala farada badan diblomaasi looma baahno diblomaasi badan
So basically you've watched the two videos and I'm sure you understand the concept behind them. And Somalia has this idea of a greater Somalia. They feel basically some countries have infringed on their territorial integrity. Countries like Kenya and Ethiopia, together with a bit of Djibouti. So they have this dream of putting together the greater Somalia, uniting their broader ethnic regions. As you can see here, these are the parts that they're talking about: a slice of Djibouti, a big chunk of Ethiopia, and a huge chunk of Kenya. And they want to unite this into a greater Somalia. But I will say this isn't the work of it isn't the idea of all the Somali people. Rather, this is more of it's more of a rallying call by Somalia's politicians anytime they want to pull people together for a certain cause, like during elections or something like that. Because what I've seen is that most of the Somalis I've interacted with personally, these are very hardworking people, these are very honest people, and these are very good people generally. But now the problem comes with the people who actually live in Somalia itself, and that is what I'm afraid of a little bit, because most of the people living in Somalia, and I always say this on this channel, they have very they have such a low standard of life, they have so many problems, they have lots of conflict. So this makes them into very, very negative people. And even there's this article from the news channel Voice of Africa, and it says most people in Somalia are highly traumatized due to political instability, prolonged violence, and humanitarian crisis. There is a high prevalence and wide range of the various mental disorders, substance abuse disorders, and poor quality of life in both non-clinical and clinical populations. So we have a bunch of people who are really struggling to get on by. We have a bunch of people who are really hopeless. We have a bunch of people who are really young, people who have not gotten access to education. They may not know what happens around the world. All they know is that their country is broken. And these people make easy fodder for politicians, because if you want support in Somalia, all you have to go there and give them hope. Tell them one day you'll help them reunite the greater Somalia region. All you have to do is tell them one day you're going to invade Kenya and Ethiopia, and they'll back you, because they have nothing to lose and their surroundings are pretty terrible. And so they have been made into fodder by um, their leaders mostly, and it's an interesting development actually. And I see conflict arising from such words, especially using Omar Ilha. Let's check her out. I don't know what senator. I don't know. Ilan Omar, yeah, Ilan Omar. I can't quite remember her name. So this is the lady who was in the first video talking about how uh, the Americans do what Somalis tell them, etc., etc. But there's nothing of the sort. I think she's just playing up the crowd and trying to get some cheap support from them. And in reality, there's nothing that Somalia will be able to do at this point, because Somalia won't be able to take this part from Kenya unless Kenya actually gives back the territory, which it could or it could not, because it's a very barren territory. It's very hard to develop. People are so far apart. Kenya could decide to keep it or give it away, but unless Kenya decides to, this part it will be part of Kenya. And then there's Ethiopia. Ethiopia, it's impossible. Even the Italians tried to invade Ethiopia and found it difficult. Somalia tried to invade Ethiopia and found it difficult. In fact, the war between Somalia and Ethiopia those couple of years ago, that is the war that actually broke Somalia and led to the situation that it is in right now. This part of Djibouti is just impossible, because Djibouti is a well-respected country and many countries have their military bases there. And then we have the Somaliland region. If Somalia really wanted to bring back Somaliland region, and they have not been able to do it up to this point, they'll never be able to do it. So I will say you take these politicians' word with a grain of salt, because it's just hype. It's just hype. They get together, they hype, and then that's it. Everyone goes home. But I do foresee some terrorist insurgency or some terrorist movement arising from all that, because there's still a lot of anger in Somalia, and there's lots of people you can recruit, lots of people who are poor, and uneducated and can be easily misled by some of these politicians slash warlords. Anyway, thanks for watching. And what I can say is, if you live in Kenya, Ethiopia, don't be afraid. Somalia, eventually Somalia will figure itself out. Eventually Somalia will become a peaceful country, and it will become an economically viable country. But as for now, Somalia, it's best just to ignore some of these terrorist elements that are in those countries.